Installing PW ICF connectors. The PW ICF connector is a galvanized metal insert that's embedded into an ICF concrete wall to receive the floor joist hangers. It has two vertical planes to provide guidance when laying out the PW connectors. The vertical planes are here and here. The three anchors get embedded into the concrete and provide maximum vertical resistance. And the mirror image design allows you to flip the product one way or the other, and much easier for you to lay it out. The angled bends provide a lateral resistance. It's like trying to open a door with bent hinges. One box of PW-ICF connectors has 20 pieces. That's 10 sets. That's enough for 10 joist ends. You have 10 number 10 3/4 inch screws with a hex head. They're self-tapping. There's an install guide, and each box weighs about 35 pounds. The technical report, it's third-party certified by professional engineers, and it has your factored resistance or your loads for your wall, as well as a layout for your parallel wall bracing. So the ICF wall needs to support the diaphragm, or the diaphragm needs to support that parallel ICF wall, I should say. So it's laid out so that it works with your plywood subply or subfloor material. It's pretty easy to use. You lay out your floor, you snap your line, typically top of floor line. You mark out each vertical side of your joist so you can decide which way to flip the connector, and always double check your layout. Here's 3 of the 4 options. When you lay them out, you can lay them out outward facing, so the flanges away from each other, inward facing, so the flanges face each other, and then both face left or both face right. On what we're going to show you here, this project, the actual top of the wall was top of the subfloor. So as you can see, they marked out they laid out their joists, so these are the 2 lines that they're using to lay out each side of their joist. So typically, snap your line, mark out your joists, so a vertical line on each side. Pretty straightforward. And then you have to mark out your anchor locations. So once your vertical joist lines are marked out, you can determine which way to flip the PW-ICF connector to avoid cutting into an ICF web. And it's pretty straightforward. You just take the ICF connector, hold it up in the reverse way against the ICF, and then you can mark where the anchors go with a felt pen. So you can see that he's marked each side here, and that's to avoid having the anchors try and get through the web here. So he's reversed them so that they're just in the foam, and they're all marked out. Then you cut your slits in where you've marked the ear locations. And I like to double cut. I like to make mine 2 saw blades wide so the connectors slide in easier. I do that with these and or the Simpsons. Just makes it easier to slide them into place. Then you push your ICF connector flush into the wall so it's tight to the ICF. This particular project, they never used the product before. They put in 26 sets in 26 minutes. So basically 1 minute per, and that did not include their layout time. So you could add a tiny bit for the layout, but laying out the floor is pretty straightforward and reasonably quick. As you can see, there's all 26 sets are put in, and you can tell that they're flipped various ways to avoid cutting the ICF web. I typically screw a little cleat over the top so it keeps the PW connector in place. It keeps it from migrating away from the wall. Always check after the pour, make sure they're tight, and you can just tap them back in with a hammer if they've come out a bit. But if you put a cleat across, you won't have any issues. And that's typical to all ICF joist hangers that you're going to work with in the ICF world. Then once you strip your bracing off, you can then fasten your joist hangers too. So when you fasten your joist hangers, typically again, now you snap bottom of your floor. And the reason you re-snap a line is all ICFs settle when you fill them up with concrete. So there's a huge compressive load that goes onto an ICF. And whether the ICF webs go to top to touch each other, it's still going to compress down that wall. And it has everything to do with rate of pour, weight of concrete, the whole bit, the friction on the sides. But that will pull your wall down no matter what. It's 5,000 pounds per cubic meter or thereabouts. So it's pretty heavy product, and it does pull your ICF. It compresses it down so it changes your wall heights. So with this system, now you snap your line and everything's good. I usually screw a 2x4 or something about 6 foot long, just with a couple screws in it just to hold that line. And then I set my joist hangers on top of that and screw it in so all my joist hangers are at the proper elevation. And I just move along my 6 foot 2x as I go and screw in all my joist hangers. And all that's left to do is drop in your floor joists and nail or screw them into place. Some may or may not need squash blocks, but that's as easy as it gets. They're easy to install. They're always at the proper elevation because you compensate for that compression of the ICF wall. It's almost as fast as nailing them in. The screws with the hex heads go very fast into the connector. There's no heavy ledgers to lift. There's no pre-drilling on the ledgers and over the connectors. You don't have to shim everything or anything because everything is set to that string line that you've set at the bottom of floor elevation. Electrical and plumbing, so your sub-trades, they can run up through between the joists. There's no ledger in their way. Very convenient for building ICF walls or for your sub-trades following behind, so they can move from floor to floor without the ledger being in the way. And really, it's a simple, elegant product, easy to use, easy to lay out, very fast to install. I'd recommend giving them a try. I've been installing ICFs since late 80s, early 90s. I've been in the business a long time, so 30 plus years installing ICFs, and this is one of the better products I've worked with. So if you have any questions, go to the website and or give us a call. Thank you.